All of the events that have happened with this box are real. If you are extremely religious, please do not read this. September 2001. An item appears on eBay. It isn't a cursed doll or a murder weapon. It is a simple wine cabinet. But the seller, a man named Kevin Manis, isn't trying to sell you an antique. He is trying to get rid of a plague. The listing continues. I will not be held responsible for what happens to the buyer. If you have a known heart condition, please do not bid. What started as an online curiosity became the most famous haunted object in modern history. From a quiet estate sale in Oregon to the private collection of Post Malone, this box has left a trail of strokes, car crashes, and terrifying hallucinations. Is it a hoax constructed by a creative writer? Or is it a prison for an ancient, restless evil? Let's open the file. The story begins in Portland, Oregon. Kevin Manis, a local business owner and writer, attends an estate sale of a woman who had reached the age of 103. She was a Holocaust survivor, the only member of her family to escape the concentration camps. Manis buys a few items, including the wine cabinet. As he prepares to leave, the woman's granddaughter approaches him. She sees the box, and her face drops. She tells him that her grandmother always kept the sewing cabinet in her sewing room. She called it the Dybbuk Box. The granddaughter explains that the box was never to be opened. Manis, trying to be polite, offers to give it back. Her response is immediate and frantic. We don't want it. She refuses to take it back. Manis takes the box to his furniture restoration shop, unaware that he has just invited a parasite into his life. Curiosity wins. Manis opens the cabinet. It doesn't contain wine. It contains a bizarre collection of ritualistic items, oddly specific and deeply unsettling. Inside, he finds two 1920s wheat pennies, a lock of blonde hair, a lock of dark brown hair, a small, dried rosebud, a golden wine cup, a heavy cast-iron candlestick with octopus legs, and finally, a granite slab carved with the Hebrew word shalom. A strange word to find inside a vessel that was about to bring absolute chaos. Manis didn't know it yet, but by breaking the seal, the containment was broken. The piece was over. Almost immediately, strange things happen at Manis's shop. He leaves for a few hours to run errands. When he returns, he finds the shop in shambles. Light bulbs are shattered. The air reeks of cat urine. But the scariest part? The heavy iron gates at the back of the shop are locked. From the inside, nothing was stolen. It was a tantrum. Manis decides the box is a nice antique, and decides to gift it to his mother for her birthday. This is the turning point. He travels to present the gift. He leaves the box with her for a moment to make a phone call. Within 5 minutes, a neighbor calls him. His mother has collapsed. She suffers a massive stroke. She loses the ability to speak. When Manis visits her in the hospital, tears streaming down her face, she spells out a word on a notepad. Hate. And then, she points a trembling finger at the box. Manis takes the box back. And that is when the dreams begin. Everyone who stays in his house, his sister, his brother, his friends, they all report the same specific nightmare. They dream of an old, hag-like creature. She hides in the shadows. She beats them. They wake up with bruises they cannot explain. And then, there are the olfactory hallucinations. The smell of cat ammonia. And strangely, the overwhelming scent of jasmine flowers. It's a sensory assault. Manis claims he started seeing things in his peripheral vision. Shadow people. One night, he wakes up and sees a shadow figure rushing down his hallway. He thinks it's an intruder. He grabs a weapon, turns on the lights, and finds nothing. Just the box, sitting there, waiting. Desperate, Manis sells the box on eBay. It goes to a student named Iosif Nietzsche. Nietzsche's experience is rapid. His hair begins to fall out in clumps. His house becomes infested with insects that shouldn't be there. He holds onto the box for months, documenting a decline in his mental health. before listing it again. Enter Jason Haxton, a museum curator from Missouri. He buys the box for $280. He thinks he is buying a piece of folklore. He is wrong. Haxton's story provides the most physical evidence of the curse. Almost immediately after the box arrives, Haxton develops strange health issues. He breaks out in hives. He coughs up blood. He develops welts on his body. Haxton is a man of science, an academic. He tries to rationalize it. Is it mold spores? Some toxic wood finish? He runs tests, but the tests come back negative. Haxton decides to research the history. He tracks the lineage back to the Holocaust survivor. He learns the theory that the box was created during a seance in 1938 in Poland. They tried to summon a spirit to fight the Nazis, but the ritual went wrong. They trapped the entity in the box to contain it. Haxton realizes the box is a biological hazard to his life. He doesn't destroy it, fearing that destroying the vessel would release the spirit permanently. Instead, he builds a wooden ark lined with 24-karat gold to insulate the energy, and he buries it in his backyard. For a while, the activity stops. But stories like this don't stay buried. Hollywood calls. The 2012 movie The Possession is based on the Dybbuk Box. The legend goes mainstream. And finally, the box finds its current home, the Haunted Museum in Las Vegas, owned by Zach Bagans of Ghost Adventures. Bagans keeps the box sealed in acrylic. He refuses to open it. But in 2018, music superstar Post Malone visits the museum. There is security footage of this. Bagans touches the box. Post Malone, perhaps in a moment of bravado, touches Bagans' shoulder. A conduit is formed. The weeks following that touch were a disaster for the rapper. First, his private jet's tires blew out during takeoff, forcing a terrifying emergency landing. Then, he was involved in a high-speed car crash in West Hollywood. Finally, armed robbers broke into his former home, looking for him. Post Malone himself said in an interview, "It's like a reverse Lucky Charm." So, where does the truth lie? Kevin Manis has, in recent years, claimed that he invented the story, that he is a creative writer and the Dybbuk Box was his masterpiece of fiction. But if that is true, how do we explain the stroke his mother suffered? How do we explain the welts and blood coughing of Jason Haxton? How do we explain the string of near-death experiences for Post Malone? Perhaps the power of the Dybbuk Box isn't in the wood or the wine cup. Perhaps the power lies in belief. Or perhaps Kevin Manis opened a door in 2001 that he simply cannot close, no matter what he tells the press. Some files are meant to stay dormant. If you enjoyed this investigation, hit the like button and subscribe to Dormant Files. Let us know in the comments, is the Dybbuk Box a hoax or a hazard? I'll see you in the next file.